This is Pod Populi.
Podcast for the people.
Hey, good morning, Elizabeth. Welcome to the Born or Made podcast.
Hey, thank you for having me.
So I always like to start off easy here. So tell me where you're at right now.
I am in New York City.
The big city, huh? What is it? The Big Apple?
The Big Apple, yeah.
Yeah. So what the heck are you doing up there? I mean, I guess the weather's nice, right? Or is it getting hot? Because I live in Virginia South. I'm talking to you in Boca Raton, but we've had like amazing weather in Virginia.
Well, yeah, so I've been traveling a lot lately. I'm actually living in Delray Beach, not far from Boca Raton. One of my offices is in Boca, so I understand that weather very well. But New York is amazing right now. I was also just in Phoenix and Las Vegas, and now I'm in New York. But the weather's been pretty good everywhere. I mean, people say it's hot, but you have to stay hydrated.
Yeah, I tell you what, though, Florida's a different, we're from Texas, live in Virginia 27 years. I opened up, Cheryl's with me and my wife, and I opened up the sliding glass door this morning at 6 o'clock, and it's like 82, and they say it's 100% humidity. It's got to be higher than that here in Florida.
I love the humidity, actually.
How?
I think my skin looks better, my hair looks better. I think everything just feels better in all the humidity. In the dry heat, when we were just in Arizona and Nevada, I feel like I'm gasping for air and always need to be putting lotion on and drinking. But in Florida, it's just like, hey, you feel good stepping outside. It might be hot, but at least you're not like cracking,
Okay, I will give you the dry. I'm not going to argue with that because in Virginia, it gets very dry in the winter, and you don't have this experience yet. But when you get to be in your 60s, things dry out even faster. So get ready. You're a long ways off. So
well, they're gonna invent something that like makes it stop, right? I've heard this for a long time. We're cryogenically going to be formed again, or reverse age, or something's going to happen. We're living till we're 100 now, right?
Well, I hope so because my runway's getting pretty short.
You look like what, 50?
No, I'm 61 now. So. So tell me some stuff about you. So you live in Delray, but so where were you born at? Like, where did this whole life of yours start at?
Wow. Okay. So, I actually was born in West Virginia.
What town?
So, it's a kind of small town called Fairmont, like 20 minutes south of, West Virginia University in Morgantown.
Morgantown. Yep. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So I'd go hunting in West Virginia. There's a lot of small towns in West Virginia.
Yeah, it's very interesting part of my life because I felt like when I started traveling, no one actually knew where West Virginia was. And people would always say, I have a friend that went to Virginia Tech, or I've been somewhere in Virginia or to the beach. And I'm like, well, that's a different state. But I think people maybe even more now are more aware. But originally when I was like 16, 17 traveling, like I was very fortunate to be able to travel not only the US, but all across the globe. So with a lot of my work that we'll get into later.
So what were you traveling internationally for in high school?
So I used to dance. I used to train ballet. So
in West Virginia?
Rewind a long time ago. Most of my focus as a young person was hardcore training dance. I went every summer of my life. I traveled the second school stopped until school started. I went to Sarasota Ballet of Florida, Ballet Met in Ohio, Royal Winnipeg in Canada, Ballet Austin. I even went to Europe to train, and I was in France training ballet. That's what I really wanted to do with my life.
Really? Okay,
yeah.
So I didn't see that coming from a girl from West Virginia.
Right.
So
it's interesting because I do nothing with dance or ballet now, but I love it so much. And that's actually what originally brought me to New York, because I wanted to be on Broadway, which I was able to do. I did a tour of Mamma Mia, and I was a Rockette. And when I realized that you can't actually make money dancing, I went to undergrad at Point Park University, but then I ended up getting my MBA from NYU. So I'm a Stern School alumni.
Wow. So you've got some serious credentials, and you can do ballet.
Yeah. Well, the ballet was like so long ago.
I know, but that means you're an athlete too. That's you're a real athlete. Like you're a D1 athlete when you can do that kind of stuff. Seriously.
Well, when you do multiple performances on a stage, under lights with cameras and costumes and just all the makeup and hairspray, like that in itself is a lot of effort, but then you actually have to literally get up and sing and dance and move your body for an hour in multiple shows a day. So I do agree, like when people compare dancing to athletics, because it's nonstop exertion and you have to smile while you do it.
No, trust me, you're not going to sell me. And most people that are going to listen to this podcast know you're when I said you're a D1 athlete, I mean, seriously. So congratulations to that. So, you go through, you realize you can't make any money dancing. You get your master's degree from NYU, pretty good school, I heard. I'm just kidding. So what did you do? What were you
it worked out for me.
What was your shift at that point? So you're not going to dance. So where's your pivot? Where are you going? You're getting an education. What are you going to do?
I just knew I had to go to school, because everyone else is going to school. At least that's what I was being told. You can't make money. Well, during my life, I guess millennial life or whatever.
Yeah.
Everybody had to get like the secondary degree to be competitive in the workspace. Like now I think that's true, but I think there's other ways. I mean, there's many other opportunities and jobs now that do not require that. Like a lot of people are even not going to like a college or university program, and they're still being very successful, which I think is great. But I kind of feel like when it was my turn, that was the only option to get that, like, push forward in life, which is awesome. And I'm super happy I did, because then it introduced me to friends that introduced me to their networks, and I ended up working directly for Formula One racing. And I got to travel the world over. I lived in London during that time, and I traveled every weekend for a race to Bahrain, Malaysia, Japan, Hungary, Brazil, Canada, wherever the race was, I went.
I learned a lot about that Formula One stuff last year when I went to Vegas. Your job was brutal.
It's crazy because you're on all weekend and you have to walk a lot. So you are traveling one day, then you are there Friday, Saturday, Sunday, travel again, follow up, do all the work you have to do, go to the next race. And it's crazy to be like, okay, well, 1 week we're in Singapore and the next week we're in, I don't know, Saudi Arabia or something like that. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's not like
amount of travel.
It's not like going from Delray to New York. Like it's cultural. Like we were with Mercedes, so we were with that group, and so we were down in the paddocks and stuff like that. But you start talking to all the people that were doing your job, and like the amount of people that they employ is crazy. Like you think, oh, there's the crew and the drivers, and then you start going, well, what about the logistics? Then you meet all the people that are doing and you're like, what the heck? Like, and it's global.
Yeah. Every language is spoken. Everyone is represented. It was a dream job as a young person. Again, when I'm saying I'm from West Virginia, like, a lot of my friends have never been out of West Virginia at that moment when I was like in 20 countries in 1 year. So
what year did you graduate?
It was a cool experience.
What year did you graduate from high school?
2004.
2004? Okay, mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm trying to get some timelines here. So Formula One is like, I've just started getting into it in the last couple of years. My brother's been in it for like 5 years. Like, did it shock you the amount of money that's in that is?
Yeah, so yeah, most people know about it now because Liberty Media bought it. When I worked for them, it was Bernie Ecclestone, and it was completely different. There was no Netflix. There was, it wasn't like the crazy endorsements I feel that they have now. It was like very particular who was allowed to be the sponsors and stuff like that, where it seems like now anybody and their brother can just throw some money and be on a car. And I like that because it makes it more open and accessible, and like having the reality show and stuff is like quite cool to open it up, because these drivers were so kind of held back, or like people didn't know who they were, their personalities and stuff. They only got to see them perform in their car with their helmet on and drive. Maybe they got to see them afterwards, do an interview, or shake and spray some champagne. Now it's cool because the people are part of the brand. But yeah, the money is insane. Even then, like it was the top wealth. Like there's something called a paddock club. And I was just like, wow, people are spending this much on one weekend to watch races and to stand around. I like was shocked again. Being from a small town in West Virginia, you're just like, what? What? This is like someone's house payment, like for the year and in a weekend.
That's what blew me away when I got to go last year with Mercedes. I was just shocked at the amount of, in the number. So you say the money, but then the number of people that are there doing that is just mind blowing to me.
I think I remember reading like one suite at the Bellagio was like 75 grand a day for the F1 in Vegas. I was like, what? How many people are going?
So I went to
How many people in
Vegas.
that suite?
Mine was in Vegas, and there was, I don't know, there were several 100,000 people there, and their brand loyalty. And so I'm in Las Vegas, I'm just a redneck from Texas and originally, and there were people from all over the globe at this event.
Well, I think most of the fun I've had was meeting the locals at the place, like in Azerbaijan and Baku, or in Sochi, Russia, or just some of the places in Singapore, Monaco. Like it was such an experience, and it was great to like go and have a job to do and like get paid to be there instead of like paying to be there. Like at least the first time I went, and as a young person, because I don't know if I would have been able to experience that life without it. So any young person or any person telling their kids what they want to look for their future, I would suggest tell them, if they want to travel, find a job that puts them in a place where they have the capability to travel. If they want to be in a certain place, find the job in the place that they are looking to be, because that allows them to test the opportunity without forking out the cash and going and trying to figure it out on your own.
And that's great advice. And the other thing is, you can screw up a lot when you're still young and recover.
Oh, for sure. I think you can screw up all the time. Actually, it doesn't matter what age you are. Like we see people all over the place, like starting new businesses all the time. I'm a true entrepreneur. I feel like I start a business or I have an idea. I mentor so many people, but it's okay to fail. And I think that that's a big problem that we're falling into, especially in America, that people are afraid to fail. And we put so much of our life out there and on social media, and there's so much judgment happening that people are scared to fail because they're going to get judged. But you're never going to get anywhere if you don't try. And I enjoy trying. I have friends that are at Google and Amazon, and since I work on this outside board of a major bank and biotech companies, like they are in their job and they're always like, oh, I wish I could go out and start this company or do this or do some of the things you're doing. And I'm like, just do it. But then they have to think back, okay, I have a family, I have this comfortable lifestyle. I'm paid X amount in salary, and I have all my stock options and things like that. It's very hard to step away, but that's part of the fun for me, like make it or break it style. And that's just part of who I've always been. I will just push harder and harder and harder to make sure it works. And then one of my mentors, who actually owns a hockey team here in New York, told me last year, maybe it was almost 2 years ago, he was like, as I've gotten older, I've learned to cut faster. And I've literally taken that this year, and I've seen like that I have been holding on to things too long, or people or agencies or commitments or goals that may not work. And I just cut, and then I've replaced or represented or reset a goal or modified a goal. Like the goal is still there. Maybe it was to exit in 18 months and it took 22 months, or maybe it was to reach a certain valuation or to raise a certain percentage of equity, or like raise amount and like not give as much equity, but in the end you gave more equity. Whatever, in the end it's part, I like the game and the negotiation and the tactics and things, but you know what, modifying, reflecting, thinking something didn't go right, it's okay. Like I'm okay with that. A lot of people can't accept that it didn't work or it failed, or they have to modify. And I've even worked with tons of co-founders and things that get so stressed that they didn't meet their goal or match or something. And that's where a lot of burnout happens. If you can't flow with things, I think that part of the issue that people have is they stop when it kind of gets too hard, or they didn't, like someone judges them or they judge themselves, which is a big deal. Like I'm very critical of myself. Like no one will be more critical of me than I am. So I think that if you can step back, be critical of yourself, but still love yourself and love what you did and the idea of what you're doing. If it really doesn't work, stop. But if you still want to do it, modify, recreate, find another, like if you're passionate about one thing, it could be another portion of, like if it's a medical field, maybe you're in the hospital, but then you move to medical devices, or you're in automotive and you work in PR, but then you go to PR for, I don't know, pet stores or something like that. It's all okay. Just do the passion, do what you love, and not hold yourself back if that's truly what you want to do.
So one of the things you said I thought was you forgive yourself. You cut yourself some slack. So I never did that. And I learned this literally like 6 weeks ago. I'm on a podcast with a guy, and he said, I've said this one other time. A friend of our family told me when I was a young man, he said, if you treated your friends like you treated your family, you would have no friends. And that was told to me almost 40 years ago. And I still remember that to this day. I'm on this podcast, and this guy, and I'm telling you this because I'm very impressed how you said that, and you were sincere. He said, if you talk to yourself the way you talk, or if you talk to your friends and family the way you talk to yourself, you would have no friends or family. And I thought, wow. And he helped, that one sentence like literally gave me chills, because you said, right, you're critical of yourself. Right. And he gave me finally the chance to not do that to myself anymore. And it was like, wow. So congratulations to be able to say that at a very young part of your life, because it's going to help you a lot. So
my current co-founder at Freedom2o, a CPG company I'm involved in. I also run East Park Technologies, and I was telling you I sit on this outside women and diversity board from UBS Bank, and a biotech company called Angiogenics. We're going through drug trials now. So my current co-founder meditates like a lot, and I always thought, wow, this is like, okay, I don't have time to do that. Like this is like the voodoo stuff, like, okay. And then but they gave me a gratitude journal, and I thought that was so awesome. And then I started like really opening my eyes to see who else meditates, or who else like inflects is more what I think of it as. Like when they say meditation, I don't sit there and go, you know,
I was the same way. Like same as you, like sitting there with incense with your legs crossed and your hands out, you know, going, same thing. Go ahead.
And so I I was like, okay, I can't do that. That's what I picture like meditation as, or like, like little people hitting a bell. Like, I'm like,
Exactly.
I know it sounds
Right.
stupid
No, it
that
doesn't.
I should be more educated on this, but maybe until like a year ago, I was just assuming that I don't need meditation. I don't have time for that. I can't sit around and listen to these sound baths and bowls to relax myself. I can't relax. Like, I'm not a relaxed person. Like, I have to be on edge to complete everything I need to do because there's so much to do. But when meditate for me means to reflect and look back in, I've actually been able to knock off things off my list instead of stress as much about it. So I've like reflected on what it is that I want to do, and then I do it instead of just thinking, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this. So it was a very good learning experience for me too, to understand, like, you know what, I can calm down, and like there are people that have figured it out through things like meditation.
So, yes. And what I did was I started trying to slow down. So I read a book recommended to me. It's been out for since 2007 called The 4 Hour Work Week. I read through it very quickly. I encourage people to read it. It doesn't apply to my life completely, but there are things that you're talking about that this guy talks about that helps you push away some of those things that are consuming you. The other thing is I have this in my manufacturing facility right above the outfeed rollers. It says you don't have time to do it right, but you have time to do it over. So I'm telling you that because, and I didn't make that quote, but take the time and slow down and meditate, whatever it is. I sit in the sauna for 15 minutes in my house, and that's when I pray. So I spend this 15 minutes. I've only been doing that for 4 months consistently. Shocking how much it has settled me down. And I encourage you, because if you can figure this out at your age, man, I'm 61 and I'm just now figuring some of this crap out. And I'm like, if I could do that, and hearing this from you and the platform that you have and this incredible energy, you can change people's lives. Change yours first and help other people to do it, because it's a big deal.
Yeah, I remember when I would get invited to speak at events. And when I was younger, I was like, go, 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 just
Yeah.
keep going, just like pummel through it. And I didn't have the same idea that I have now. And I wonder if I actually would have told myself to slow down, if I would have taken it. I don't know if I would have, but I don't want to say I would have changed it, because if I didn't force myself to work as hard as I did, I don't know if I'd be where I am. Maybe I'd be farther, maybe I'd be more behind, but like I can't think like that, but I definitely think we should listen to the people that are more mature than us, that have experienced more life than us, have gone through more than us, and reflect, as I'm saying. But again, when I heard some people tell me things, I was like, I'm not gonna do that, like I'm 20. What do they know? Like, they haven't been in the game for 20 years, like, or they don't remember what it's like to be an entrepreneur, or like it's so much harder now, or like, like there's a million social medias out there that are now judging us compared to like when you wanted to start your job. So I mean, I think that we all have that. I'm sure everyone now who's, I don't know, 15 years younger than me that I'm talking to now, like when I go speak at like places like NYU or at these events, I'm sure they're like, okay, lady,
Oh, they
like,
are for sure, because there's one thing you need to remember that I've learned this too, is the brain that you're in today is no different than the one they were developing 200 years ago. Okay. We're all beating ourselves up. We're all thinking the old guy's still not that smart. None of this stuff changes. There's a certain part of us that's the same. And that's what you're going through is the same thing I've gone through. Okay. But I'm impressed more by you because of the fact you're very mature for your age mentally, and congratulations. That's a big deal for you. Like, you have that. I'm telling you, as an old guy, you're a lot farther ahead on that than the average person.
say that's because of living in New York City and also traveling a lot that
Yeah.
I've had so much experience and I've seen so much life and I've been exposed to everything. A lot of times people are like, afraid. I don't want to say it like that, but they're afraid to do things. Like they're afraid to experience like half of the things that like, I mean, going to places where you don't know the language and you have no idea how to get around and you have no money. Like, how do you do that? You just have to figure it out in yourself, like if you can do it or not, and if you're willing to do it. Like, can I try? Like, I did a semester abroad in Paris, and I mean, I thought I like knew enough French, but like I took 5 years of French before going there. Like I knew nothing. Like no one would speak to me in French at all. They would just like laugh the whole time. Now it's totally different. I go to France for like event or something, and everybody's like, "Hello, bonjour," and I'm like, "What? You guys are all speaking English at the store when you walk in at the restaurant?" Like completely different when I was there. Everyone just wanted to practice English with me when I was there. No one wanted to speak French. So I didn't get that awesome experience, but it's very scary to
Absolutely. Just the money exchange is intimidating.
like, I mean, police in different countries and sometimes it's military and things like that. I mean, also being a female is different. In certain countries, like when I went with F1, they were like, okay, you cannot leave your room. Someone has to come get you out of your room. Like what? Like here in America, we are just comfortable to walk out and be totally free and able to do anything. And that's why I think it's important that we like stand for our freedoms and we have our freedoms here because a lot of people don't realize that there is a lot less than the media lets us know in other places.
Yeah, we can go down that path real quick. I mean, I interviewed a gentleman yesterday from Brazil, and
Yeah.
two guys and another guy today. They're like, yeah, I came to America, the greatest country in the world, and these guys are like, and we need to tell people like a kid like me, a girl like you, a kid, I'll call you a kid too, a kid like you coming from West Virginia and you've been all over the globe. Tell me one of the countries we won't mention countries. We can do whatever. I don't care. It's your comfort level there. I'll say it. Saudi Arabia. So you couldn't be who you are today in Saudi Arabia.
I mean,
Or
I
in really
love,
any other country, right? I mean, this is still, it doesn't matter here.
right. I mean, I get to wear pants. I get to show my hair. I get to have a job. I am sitting on your podcast now. Like I have a voice. It's I love it. I mean, it's crazy how like everyone wants to come here because it is the greatest country. Like our grandparents and grandparents fought for us to have what we have today. And so many people I see throwing it to trash or giving it up or just talking poorly about this country. Like our parents, grandparents, everybody wanted this life for us that people are dying to come here. Like border, if you like it or not, it's open, but people are pouring in because this is so great. Like a lot of people my age, a little younger, a little older, entrepreneurs, like they all talk about like we're so burnt out, we can't make it in America. Like we're just going to Bali or Thailand or Indonesia or Lisbon or wherever, like Puerto Rico even. A lot of people are like that are mid-level young people that aren't the elite, that aren't poor, just want to leave so their dollar can go farther because the wealth transfer that keeps going on. I call it wealth transfer because if you can make enough money here, but you can't make it, but you take your money to Thailand or Bali or Croatia or wherever, you're wealthy there and can live a really good life without all the stress. So there's a lot of things going on where if the people here hate it so much, they are leaving or they're just staying here and hating it while everybody else is coming here, which is pretty crazy because I think our grandparents and our grandparents fought for us to be here.
Absolutely. So we've been on, this is great. Like you and I have covered a lot of good topics. Like we've been everywhere. So let's jump back real quick. So you graduate college, New York, you got a master's degree now. Where are you going? And then how are you, like, give me a quick rundown and then get me where you're at today.
Okay, so I went to Formula One,
Yep.
and then I worked directly for McLaren Racing and McLaren
Okay.
Automotive.
Go Lando. Did I say that? I said go Lando.
Lando North. Yeah, go Lando.
Yeah, I'm a Lando guy. Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, when I was there, when I worked for them at McLaren, it was Lewis Hamilton. He
Yep.
became world champion while I was there. Jenson Button was there, and Sergio Perez, who is with Red Bull. And
Yep.
Jenson, I think, is a commentator now. But then after that, I worked directly for McLaren Automotive because they were launching a street car. So that was part of my, I guess, claim to fame that I came to, I went to America, and I'm American, so
Yeah. It sounds
back
good
home.
though. Yeah, it sounds cool.
And I launched McLaren Automotive with the team, and we launched all of the dealerships, and we did all of, there was like maybe a couple people, maybe 5 people at the beginning. We did everything. I did marketing, PR, sales, after sales, setting up the and just the dealerships themselves, talking to clients, talking to people like Jay Leno to do interviews, to fly to the to Woking where McLaren Automotive was, to tour the technology center. I did tours of the technology center. We drove cars. We did comparisons. I got to drive Ferraris and ride in Bugattis and all of these things to talk about how the difference of handling for McLaren was. And then so I got to launch a $1 million car, which was the McLaren P1. Like $1 million base, which is really insane.
Yeah, I know.
And now like the McLaren Sennas and everything, like what are they starting at, like $3 million?
Yeah, $3 million.
It's
yeah,
crazy.
If you can get
the
one.
technology, you can't get one.
That's right. Yeah.
The technology that's put into these cars and the design. I used to love working with Frank Stevenson, who was the designer of like the 12C and the P1 and stuff when McLaren came out. I remember part of my favorite time there was we craned P1 onto the top of the SLS in Beverly Hills for a party. We did really cool ads, and then I started working with EA while I was at McLaren, putting the cars in the video game and doing the commercials for Need for Speed and working with Need for Speed until the point is I actually then went to work at EA. So it was pretty cool.
Okay.
Did you want to say something? I saw a finger.
No. I was moving my mic. I can't tell if you can see me, so I can only see you. So,
okay.
So EA. So now where are we going next? So we're EA.
So I was a publisher of speedhunters.com for EA, and it was a research and development arm for the video game Need for Speed. So we were constantly traveling as well, going to coach builders, visiting manufacturers, finding out where the cool stuff was, like drifting, like Formula Drift, we were a big sponsor of. Builders in Japan like Nakai-san, cutting fenders off air-cooled Porsches and putting wide bodies on them. Working with wheel companies and tires, doing rallies all around the world, like the Gumball 3000 and Gold Rush Rally. Like this was part of my life all the time. Drifting in snow, like driving Lamborghinis on ice, like just crazy experiences with cars that we would document. And literally when I tell people that was my life, it was my life. I during that time traveled all around as well between EA locations, and for part of my time I spent living in EA in Sweden. So I had a place between Stockholm and Göteborg or Gothenburg when we were building the last game that I worked on. It was just a crazy time, a crazy life. And actually during that time, it was way before YouTube. So, well, not way before, but like way before you had these like influencers with like millions of followers on
Right.
YouTube. So we would do YouTube videos. I started an Instagram with some friends. The Instagram still has like 5 million followers. It's called Car Lifestyle. I did a podcast with them. So I was like a female voice on a podcast, the Car Lifestyle podcast, talking about cars and just doing things. And then because you're a girl in the space, there's not very many that were like at a level that I was. So I got invited to events like by Car and Driver or Pirelli, or to test a new car, or to get a car for a week and just write an article about it, or take pictures or give feedback. So it was really insane that I was a young person. Like I remember I was invited to do a show with Michelle Rodriguez for like the Drive Network, and I don't even know. It was really a crazy time because I was like, I had no idea. Like, let's go back. I had no idea going to business school would get me into Formula One, to get me to be a car nut. I mean, I love cars. I mean, from West Virginia, we used to go like mudding and rooting. I don't know
Yeah.
if you've heard of that
Right.
before. Like off-roading's really fun. And I
Absolutely.
think that like getting your hands dirty and being a part of that like helped me with like loving like cars, racing, driving, being fun. Like part of the part of my life in high school, like when I was in West Virginia, was just free, just driving around. Like you just drove from place to place to your friend's house. Like I remember every day after high school, there was like this one hill where you would go down and like it would jump up a little bit. I would just do it like 3 times in a row. I'd be like, why not? Like that was what we had. We didn't have cell phones with where we would just scroll TikTok all day. Like we
Right.
just drove around and had fun. We would like go to places like Taco Bell or the ice cream shop or something. Like drive to this place. Oh, your friend's here. Oh, we saw them driving. Like, oh, let's drive together. Like that's just what we did. And it sounds crazy for me to say that because I'm not even 40 yet, and I feel like kids like that are like 18 will be like, "You old lady." Like I'm like, it doesn't feel like that long. Like when I think of when I was 18, 40-year-olds seems so much older, but maybe it's just the being like 38 years old now. Like I can't imagine that um
You're
that
actually,
I
you
would look at
actually, you're,
myself.
even with,
I don't think I would look at myself the way I looked at 38, 40-year-olds when I was 18.
you're an old soul though. You are. You know, you are. You just, yeah. Remember I told you I was very impressed how mature you are, but yeah, you're not acting like an old soul. And I'm not saying that in a degrading way, but
Yeah.
yeah, you have this, like for hearing you say that, oh, when I'm 40, you're so young. And I feel the same way at 61, right? I mean, that's good for you. Keep it. Don't lose it. Cause you got it.
Oh, so I do want to say I used to like I get super intense into things. So if I'm going to do something, I really do it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Shocking.
all
Yeah.
of my life, like cars, focus, what I do now, like with mentoring and being on boards of companies, running a CPG company and my tech firm, like it's just I get so into it. I'm so deep, like including like when you're saying you go to the sauna, I love doing a workout. It's like STEM, EMS, electromagnetic stimulation. Like, so they put these pads all over and then you like do an intense workout with the pads on. So it's going while you do push-ups or while you're like lifting weights or doing cardio. Because if you're going to do something, I think you should do it and as intense as possible as you possibly can. Because 20 minutes, like, I mean, I know it's crazy to think 20 minutes, like that 20 minutes is like 60 minutes of workout. So I want to, amortize my workouts by, adding everything I can on top of it to make it work.
That's funny. So I work out. I work out 7 days a week, like every day. When I travel, I miss my sauna. Have you done cold plunge yet?
Yeah. Oh, I used to do cold plunge all the time after like being on stage and rockets and stuff. Like you would just go back and get in. Every day was a little longer every time.
So I do 3 minutes. I have a cold plunge I have a car barn. And so where I keep my cars, and it's still the hardest single thing I do. Like I have to make myself, I'm only to 46 degrees for 3 minutes. The first 30 seconds is a beat down. But then you get out of it. That's when I write, is when I get all out of that, I go write, because you get this incredible euphoric, like, I don't know if it's a dopamine rush, but it's amazing. So I don't know with your energy that you need it, but you got to get back into it if you're not doing it.
Yeah, I haven't done it in a while, but for sure. Even you can do this at home too. Like people can just run their bathtub and throw tons of ice in it and try it out.
Well, 58, when I first started, 65 degrees was cold. Like 46, I don't know if I'll ever go below that. That's freaking cold.
I kind of think the in between is worse. I think you need to go. Maybe it's my
Thanks. Yeah,
side,
appreciate it.
but I think if you're going to do it, just do it. And you have to get your head under fast, because if not, you're just, oh, I can't even step down the step. Like, just the faster you get under, the faster you can get out. So.
Okay. I haven't put my head in yet. Full disclosure.
Oh my gosh, I put my head under all the time.
No, I go to my neck, because mine, if I go in that deep, it overflows. I kind of overflow.
Okay.
I'm going to use that as my excuse, Elizabeth.
Okay. So, my sister and I like going to, like, because she lives in New York as well. So we like going to this spa downtown. I think it's called Air or something like that. But they have cold plunge and hot. And so we like would challenge each other all the time. Like, how long can you stay in? And we would just jump back between both of them when we would go. The people at the spa are like, well, who are these crazy girls there? We're just like, oh, we're from West Virginia. And so they're like, okay.
It's so bad. Yeah, we just did it in creeks back when I was living in West Virginia. And the water is cold up there too, so as you know. So tell me about your current venture right now, it's Water 2.0.
Yeah, Freedom2o. So
Freedom.
Freedom2o came about really just this year when my co-founder and I were realizing that we are more libertarian conservative people, and we didn't find a brand for us that was in our age demographic, let alone younger. So when you think of brands in the conservative space, I think of reverse mortgages, gold bars, back creams, vitamins, things for old people.
Be careful. Be careful. Don't.
I know, I don't want to say it like that.
I'm just messing with you.
So, you know what? There is some younger brands. A famous brand like My Pillow, like, is very known to be a conservative brand. But how many pillows do you need, or how many sheets do you need? I love Mike Lindell. We've met him before, but it's a thing that you can't carry around with you and say, like, here's how I stand. Like, where is the Prime? Where is the Red Bull? Where's the Monster Energy? Where's the Ben and Jerry's for the conservative space that's for the youth? So that's where we went. And I was watching an RNC debate, and they were drinking Dasani and Fiji. And I just went on this rant about how, well, Dasani is owned by like Coca-Cola or whatever, but Fiji, from being in California and stuff, is owned by a family who's very progressive. And then they're owned by Palm Wonderful, who exclusively gives to Democrats and liberals and Planned Parenthood. And these are just like things that people don't even know. So when you see a Republican person running for office and they're drinking Fiji, I'm like, why are you actively supporting your competition? So, and then I like started looking and seeing, like, well, where is this parallel economy that people talk about, that I keep hearing about? Since moving to Florida, people are talking about a parallel economy, but I don't see it. So I said, we need to make something that doesn't play left, right, and center, that has a conservative skew to it, that it isn't like, being so woke that they get in their own way, and that still has family and traditional values. Like, what's wrong with loving America, which we already spoke about? If I believe it's the greatest country on the planet and all these people want to get here, why don't we have brands that represent that support that support what America was founded on? And we also think that hydration, unlike Ben and Jerry's that's like full of sugar and diabetes, isn't essential. And we believe that free speech is essential. And especially with what's been happening over the past few years of censorship or media overreach or the programming that keeps happening. And so we want to say, hey, the First Amendment is first for a reason. It's free speech. And critical thinking is what I stand on with all of my platforms that I'm on. Everyone I talk about, I said, even if you disagree with me, have a reason, debate me, give me a reason why. Tell me why my side is different than your side, and I'll argue your side back, because we don't have that anymore. We don't have this civil discourse. We don't have a communication. So we made Freedom2o, which is a water bottle hydration company, and we are coming out with energy sticks and hydration packs and a couple of other, like, in the beverage space, to give to the youth, to say, you have a voice, there's something else out there, there's something for you to support that's cool. Where's the cool branding for anything that's like not liberal? I don't want to say it like that, but
You should. I mean, why not? They do. They do. I mean, what makes it's funny you said, so I am right with you. Like, I'm libertarian conservative. And because my big thing is leave me alone. And the other thing, like when you were talking about discourse, like you and I should be able to have a debate and then go eat lunch together, right? Not go, I hate you, you know, I'm despise. Okay, I don't know. I don't have to agree with you, but I can still like you, and you don't have to hate me because we don't agree. Like, I like red Angus cows. I raise cattle, right? But that doesn't, everybody else likes black Angus cattle, right? That's just, but I think the red ones are pretty. Don't mean you have to hate me for it, right? And I'm being very facetious on that, but right, it's the same thing. I drink so much water. I drink two things. I drink water and coffee. That's all I drink. And you said that about Dasani. I didn't know that. Now I'm frustrated with that because I'm like, well, where do I get water, right? So now I know I'm getting Freedom 2.0. I was getting to read a little bit about it. So why can't I, right? Like, so I buy these clothes and we're all like, oh, I buy these clothes. Well, they're being built by people with 12-year-old kids, but we don't talk about, what about your iPhone?
No. And that's very important to us. And that's why we put so much effort, energy, intensity into our water about sourcing it, being sustainable. We actually have a partnership with 4Ocean. They're in Boca. And we've already dug out 17,500 pounds of plastic from the ocean, even though we're using our PET 100% recycled bottles that are 100% recyclable. So we care about this. Sustainability and environment isn't just a liberal thing. It should be a human thing, a global thing. And being conservative doesn't mean you just throw trash on the ground, or like some of these ideas that people have. Like, we also infuse our water with O3 ozonation, and we go through the ultraviolet. We have no fluoride in our water, but we also are unapologetic and put bold statements on the side, very rebellious things that you're like gonna get canceled for, or you're afraid to talk about, or that we should just be talking about. Like, what's wrong with saying, drink this water or move to Canada? Like, that's one of our labels. Like, we have all these people that say, oh, if this politician wins, or if this happens or that happens, I'm leaving the country, or they throw out Canada a lot. So we put it on our label.
They never leave. They never leave though, do they?
They never do.
Actually,
I offered in one of my, I gave a speech in Texas, and I said, if anybody finds anybody who wants to go, I'll buy their ticket. Like, fine, I'll pay for them to go. And we'll see. We'll see. No one's approached me. I'm throwing it out there again. Someone wants to leave the country and go to Canada, I'll get you a ticket.
Well, now I know what water I'm officially buying at the Dix household is all my stuff. I'm going to have Freedom 2.0. Why not? I mean, I'm frustrated. You even told me that I drink so many bottles of water, which frustrates me because it's plastic and I hate plastic. Yeah. But I'm not the guy. I'm not of your generation. Maybe not yours. My grandkids, they all have, they have stainless steel water cans, and they drive, everywhere they go, they fill them. I don't do that.
Right. I mean, that is amazing, and that's very sustainable, but also the source of that water, sometimes we don't know, because municipal water, it does not filter out a lot of things, including you can do this research, but like, a lot of people take hormones or birth control and it's estrogen. So a lot of municipal water systems are not filtering out 100% of the estrogen. So we are actually putting different hormones and estrogen back into our body through tap water, which is like pretty crazy. I didn't even know this when I wanted to create, because I'm like you, I am a water or coffee person. I don't drink anything else. And I was like, you know what? We want to make something healthy that people can really get behind. Like these primes and Red Bulls and stuff have tons of sugar. And you know what? Like,
Terrible.
I love my teeth. I love my skin. I love my body. I want to stay healthy. So water's the way to go.
I'm lucky we live on a farm, so we have clear, we don't have any of that stuff in there. Before that, I filtered all my water because I was so worried about fluoride. I'm 61.
Yeah.
I've never even had a cavity. I have incredible teeth. I was so blessed with my mom's teeth. But we pound fluoride and the crap is killing us. And it's in all of our water.
Even in American Pediatrics and the NIH, they say you don't need it past the age of 16.
But yet they try to put it on my teeth right now every time I go to the dentist.
Also in parts of Europe, they got rid of fluoride in their tap water.
So I've heard that.
I'm not sure why we're still putting it in, but maybe it's because someone said we had to once and no one went back and challenged it.
Yeah, we could go down a big path on all the pharmaceutical and all that. I'm working I'm on 4 blood pressure medicines, and I'm actively trying to figure out how to get off that now. Just like a buddy of mine, have you ever looked at the carnivore diet?
Oh yeah. I love red meat.
So do I. We're Texans. We grew up on red meat, right?
Yeah.
But I met a guy, and he's been on it now for 6 months. He's lost 50 pounds, and he's down to actually more than half of his blood pressure medicine. And his doctor told him if he did it, it would kill him. Now they're like, your blood pressure's better now. And he's like, well, I'm only eating meat. And they're like, what? So now he just quit telling them because they're like, oh, you can't do that.
There is so many things that I think people are taught that especially in the medical field, that this is what you have to look for. If this is there, you have to give this. This is the newest pharmaceutical. You're getting paid by this company.
Mm-hmm.
Give it to them if they have a slight inkling that they may have this, instead of like finding an underlying issue. And that's something we actually worked with 2 naturopath doctors to create our energy and hydration packaging, the formulation. Because we're using pink Himalayan sea salt with trace minerals. We're
using
only
that
pronounceable ingredients.
I just started
filler,
using
no
the
maltodextrin or anything.
I started using the Himalayan salt about 3 weeks ago. For the pink Himalayan salt. It's Himalayan, right?
Yep.
Yeah, we just got
pink
that.
Himalayan sea salt. Yeah.
Yeah, we started getting that. Just trying to, I am committed. I take Prozac, not to get in my stuff, Prozac for 15 years. I tried doing some natural stuff. It doesn't work. So I'm first going to get on my blood pressure, and then I'm going after that next.
And then you froze it. It had all these crystals that were broken and ugly and like morphed out of place. So it's true. Like, it's just like how they say with plants and things, like the more love and the more energy you give to the plant, it grows. So the same is with water. And if our body is a large portion of water, why don't we treat it that way? And we need to put the best water into our bodies and hydrate ourselves as much.
So where do I get this water at now? Let's throw this out here.
Okay, so at our website, freedom2o.com, on Walmart or on Amazon.
Really? Both of them are out there. Okay.
Yeah. We're doing actually really well on Amazon, which we were shocked a little bit because we thought like Walmart would be it. Or also we're on Public Square. I don't know if your listeners are familiar with that, but that's a conservative parallel economy push as well. So Amazon, Walmart, our direct website, freedom2o.com. And secretly, we've been talking to a bunch of wholesalers recently that are going to pick us up, but we don't want to make that announcement yet until everything's finalized. But hey, maybe one of your listeners has a grocery store or a retail chain and wants to carry our water. We do a lot of fun things like geofence marketing, campaigning, like locally we have like freedom fighters and like all of the covering the US right now, like as affiliates and ambassadors for us. So it's a fun program. It's a fun project. We really love like just standing behind essentials like free speech, critical thinking, and hydration.
So freedom2o.com.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, so I'm going to go there and just buy it direct, and that way you get more money that way anyway. They don't get their cut. I encourage all of my listeners to go there just to help out. So,
and what's really fun is next week we're launching our new labels with like some new statements. So we have cool new boxes and new labels that will be coming out. So if they order now, they'll get the old labels, and then if they order next week, they'll get the new labels. So they could have both, like because we're gonna wean out those will become limited edition now.
That is so cool. All about it, just water, because we are like, I drink so much water, it's just mind blowing to me. I mean, and most of my friends do. Like I have a grandson. I'm only one of my grandsons. He's only had water or milk. He's 13 years old, and he doesn't drink a lot of milk. I mean, he's never had any other, like he doesn't even know what a soda is. He won't even, you offer him Kool-Aid, he's like, I'll just drink water.
Yeah, I have a 5-year-old and she only drinks water too. She loves it. She likes freedom.
Freedom,
she always says, I want
yeah.
that freedom water.
Good. Just we need the next generation, because I am so proud of you. Way to go. This is good stuff. You're a dynamo. You're giving me the hope of this country is still alive and well. Thank you for that. Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh, thanks. I know what you mean. I hear it from colleagues all the time, doom and gloom. I thought I only learned that in college and it wasn't real.
Yeah, well, there's still a lot of guys like me that believe in this country. I mean, I would not be where I'm at. I know that for a fact. And, you give me hope now of just the future, and thanks for that. So, so we got to go. We're already done. This was like 58 minutes. This was great. We covered all kinds of cool stuff. So my final question always is, do you think through all this we've talked about today, do you think you were born or do you think you were made?
I actually think I was made, because I was born, but then I had to make it. I had to make my own decisions. I had to push and pursue and persevere. So I feel like I made what I am today. I wasn't born this way.
Fantastic. You're great. I really enjoyed this. Thank you so much for the time.
Thank you. Until next time.
Until next time, we're going to meet again soon.